Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Blue. We're back. We're here with another video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. This is going to be Trump once again at Meet the Press interview, just trying to get more information, more insight, and see where Trump is going, what he's going to do his first days in office. Now, the hot topic is deportation. Everybody's up in arms and trying to figure out exactly what's going on. I know a lot of my family members that are like, oh my gosh, we're going to be deported. Members has been here for over 20 years talking about something they're going to be deported. I don't know where they got this information from, but let's hear from the horse's mouth exactly what they plan on doing when it comes to deportation. As always, you guys go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and if you want to see the next video as soon as it comes out, hit that bell. And if you don't hit that bell, just know I'm going to end up like that bag of peas that's sitting in the back of your freezer. So let's go ahead and jump into the video.
Let's talk about mass deportation, one of your big agenda items. You've talked about prioritizing people who have criminal histories.
Correct.
But is it your plan to deport everyone who is here illegally over the next 4 years?
Well, I think you have to do it. And it's a very tough thing to do.
For the record, it's not only Trump that has done deportation. I would just want to make sure that is clear. As of now, granted, Trump has only done one term. Obama has deported a significant amount more than Trump has. Now, granted, Obama has 4 years over Trump, but everybody that thinks that this is just a Trump thing as far as deporting immigrants, no, Obama has done it as well. So let's make sure that's clear.
But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test. They have to be able to tell you what the Statue of Liberty is. They have to tell you a little bit about our country. They have to love our country. They can't come out of prisons. We don't want people that are in for murder. So we had 11,000 and 13,000 different estimates, 13,099 murderers released into our country over the last 3 years. They're walking down the streets. They're walking next to you and your family, and they're very dangerous.
The 13,000 figure, I think, goes back about 40 years.
No, it doesn't. No,
that
it's within the 3-year period.
figure.
It's during the Biden term. No, that was a fiction that they put that out. This was done by the Border Patrol. It's 13,099, and it's during the Biden period of time. And these are murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. You don't want those people in this country.
But you're saying something, sir, that's significant. I just want to make sure I'm clear, which is that you're saying, yes, you're going to focus on the people with criminal histories, but everyone who's here illegally has to go.
I'm saying this. We have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is. Do you know that Venezuela, their prisons are at the lowest point in terms of emptiness that they've ever been? They're taking their people out of those prisons by the thousands, and they're drunk. And just to get back, because I know exactly what you're getting at. Number one, we're doing criminals, and we're going to do them really rapidly. We're getting the worst gang probably with MS-13, and the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people. And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes and doing it with impunity. They don't care. They couldn't. They just are. They're in the real estate business.
The local police say that is not the case in Colorado.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean, I have it
you
on
don't
tape.
believe the local police.
I play it. I used to play it at my rallies every single night. No, they're breaking into doors. They're taking over the building.
But sir, you
and by the way,
the point,
the police are afraid to do anything.
You raised the point that the logistics are complicated. You said
Sure
it yourself.
they are, but everything's complicated.
Yeah, you mean you need 24 times more ICE detention capacity just to deport 1 million people per year, not to mention more agents, more judges, more planes. Is it realistic to deport everyone who's here illegally?
You have no choice. First of all, they're costing us a fortune. But we're starting with the criminals, and we got to do it. And then we're starting with others, and we're going to see how it goes.
Who are the others?
Others are other people outside of criminals. We have convicted murders. We don't mean people that are even on trial. We have people that have murdered numerous people are on our streets and in our farms, and we have to get them out of our country.
What about dreamers, sir? Dreamers.
I don't know what he means about the farms. I guess people are going into the farmlands, and when they're taking crops, they're killing the farmers too. I don't know. That's a weird one.
who were brought to this country illegally as children. You said once back in 2017, they, quote, shouldn't be very worried about being deported. Should they be worried now?
The Dreamers are going to come later, and we have to do something about the Dreamers because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age, and many of these are middle-aged people now. They don't even speak the language of their country. And yes, we're going to do something about the Dreamers.
What does that mean?
And
what are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan, and if we can come up with a plan, but the Democrats have made it very, very difficult to do anything. Republicans are very open to the Dreamers. The Dreamers, we're talking many years ago, they were brought into this country, many years ago. Some of them are no longer young people, and in many cases, they become successful. They have great jobs. In some cases, they have small businesses. Some cases, they might have large businesses. And we're going to have to do something with them. And
you want them to be able to stay. That's what you're saying?
I do. Okay. I want to be able to work something out. And it should have been able to be worked out over the last 3 or 4 years. And it never got worked out. You know, Biden could have done it because he controlled, Congress to a certain extent, right? He could have done something, but they didn't do it. I never understood why, because they always seem to want to do it, but then when it comes down to it, they don't. I think we can work with the Democrats and work something out.
Let me ask you about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders are,
You're talking about separation.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are two aspects to this. Your border czar, Tom Homan, said they can be deported together.
Correct.
Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep I don't want to be breaking up families. So the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
Even kids who are here legally?
Well, what you're going to do if they want to stay with the father, look, we have to have rules and regulations. You can always find something out like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. I'll tell you what's going to be horrible. When we take a wonderful young woman who's with a criminal and they show the woman, and she could stay by the law, but they show the woman being taken out, or they want her out, and your cameras are focused on her as she's crying, as she's being taken out of our country, and then the public turns against us. But we have to do our job, and you have to have a series of standards and a series of laws. And in the end, look, our country is a mess. We have the highest crime rate, and during the debate, a man whose ratings have gone way down, David Muir, said to me, no, crime is, because I had to debate 3 people, not one. Debating 1 was easy. Debating 3 was actually pretty easy, too, if you want to know the truth. But David Muir said, the crime rates have gone down. I said, no, they've gone up. And then the following day, they released the crime rates, and they were way up.
Yeah, the FBI statistics, you're talking about those FBI statistics.
Well, no, but he gave the wrong answer.
Confusing based on what you're looking at.
But a lot of that is migrant crime.
Let me ask you about another aspect of this.
Kristen, you know a lot of it's migrant crime.
Well, let me ask you about another aspect of this that I think a lot of people are really curious about. I mean, 3% of the people who are here illegally have criminal histories. But in your first administration, you had the zero tolerance policy, where we did see family separations.
Yeah.
You ended it. The purpose of that, though, to some extent, and you talked about this at the time, was deterrent.
You also had it with Obama. You do know that.
He didn't have a zero tolerance policy.
And you also know he built the jails for children.
He didn't have a zero tolerance policy.
But in 2014, he built the jails. You know that.
I want to ask you about the zero tolerance policy. I mean, he didn't have a systemic, we're going to separate families. Families were separated when parents were a threat to the kids.
We don't have to separate a family.
This.
Excuse me, Kristen.
Yeah.
We don't have to separate families.
Yeah.
We'll send the whole family very humanely back to the country where they came. That way the family's not separated.
So no more family separations. You're not reviving the zero tolerance policy.
Well, it depends on the family. The family may decide to say, I'd rather have dad go, and we'll stay here. And in which case they have that option.
But you're not going to revive your zero tolerance policy, which was put in place as a deterrent. Is there any universe where you would bring that back, sir?
We need deterrence. Look, ready? When somebody comes here illegally, they're going out. It's very simple. When they come here illegally, they're going out. Now, if they come here illegally, but their family is here legally, then the family has a choice. The person that came in illegally can go out, or they can all go out together. And that was made very clear by Tom Homan.
So you're not, at this point in time, planning to revive that zero tolerance policy where kids are
Well, if you call
separated.
that, I'm doing what I just told you I'm going to do.
You promised to end birthright citizenship.
Yeah.
on day one. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an
Well, we're going to
executive
have to
action?
get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it. We're the only country that has it.
Through an executive action?
You know, we're the only country that has it. Do you know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, States of America, yes, we're going to end that because it's ridiculous.
Through executive action?
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do.
What? Okay, I guess I misunderstood that.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an executive action?
Well, we're going to have to get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it. We're the only country that has it.
Through an executive action?
You know, we're the only country that has it. Do you know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, congratulations, you are now a citizen of the.
I don't think Trump is understanding what she's saying because I didn't understand. So it says, 14th Amendment, citizen clause, due process, equal. He's not saying the same thing. He's saying, like he just said, you can walk into the country, step foot in the country and say, America would say, welcome to America, you're now a citizen. That's not what the 14th Amendment is. I don't think he knows that, if that was his response, because that has nothing to do with birthright citizenship. So yeah, he may have to check back on that.
United States of America. Yes, we're going to end that because it's ridiculous.
Through executive action?
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do it through executive action, but then we had to fix COVID first, to be honest with you. We have to end it. It's ridiculous. Do you know we're the only country in the world that has it? Do you know that? There's not one other country.
What about?
I didn't know. I'm unaware of that. Because then if that's the case, why would we deport them? Then that means they're here legally. So highly confused on this conversation. I think Trump is confused on the 14th Amendment. I think she probably tried to snare him in a trap and she got him to say that he was going to try and deport everybody with the birthright, which I don't think he fully understands. The birthright is falls under the 14th Amendment. But Trump is, again, just saying about the illegal immigrants coming here on foot. That has nothing to do with the birthright. That will do it with the parent, yes. But I don't know.
The legal challenge, inevitable legal challenges that'll come.
Do you know we have thousands of judges? Somebody walks onto our land, and we have to now say, welcome to the United States. They could be a criminal or not a criminal.
Has nothing to do with the 14th Amendment.
We release them into our country. It's called catch and release. We release them into our country. Wait just 1 second. And now they get them lawyers. And the lawyers are good lawyers. And everybody has a lawyer. And do you know how many judges we have? Thousands. Thousands. Now, here's what other countries do. They come into the land and they say, I'm sorry, you have to go. And they take them out. Okay? With us, once they touch our land, we're into litigation that lasts for years, costs us hundreds of billions of dollars. We have judges, and I'm sure they're all honest, but I don't know that for a fact. You can imagine what's going on with the judges. But just so because I have a lot of judges, I tell you what, I know more about judges than any human being in history. Look, we have judges. Every time somebody puts 2 feet or even 1 foot on a piece of our land, it's welcome to long-term litigation. Other countries, every other country,
and maybe he knows something I don't.
And they see that they're here illegally, they walk them off, they take them back to where they came from. We have to get rid of this system. It's killing our country.
So boom, there you have it. As far as immigration goes, that's exactly what Trump is talking about. As you guys have heard, he hasn't said specifically about anybody being deported outside of those that are here illegally. Whatever you want to consider illegal, to me, that's if you're coming to a country. Because I mean, the same thing applies to every other country. When you travel to another country, you're only allowed to stay there for X amount of days, weeks, months before you have to go back. So they find out that you've been here too long and you don't have citizenship, then you're there illegally. So same thing with here. You cross a border, you're here on these countries. I mean, I guess I don't know. And that's the weird thing. If they're allowed to do that, then that means they're here legally. But then why are they going through the courts for asylum? So theoretically, it's not legal. So there's a lot of confusion on everything that's going on there. But as you heard from the horse's mouth himself, this has nothing to do with those that are already here. And he's already not planning on trying to send back those that have been here for years, not trying to attack those dreamers. He says himself that he's willing to work with the Democrats to figure something out to make sure that it is just these individuals that are coming over the border as of recently. He didn't say nothing about those under the Biden program because they are here legally. Now, what's going to happen from this point moving forward? Because I know that the Biden program just recently ended. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure about the whole thing, how it was supposed to work, anyways. But they're still here. Now, could things change and discredit everything that I'm saying right now? I mean, he's the president. It could happen. But at the moment, these are the words that he said. These are the words that he said to the public. Everybody can see this, and we're here seeing this right now. He says absolutely nothing about the Biden about those that are here legally, those have had green cards and stuff like that. If anything, he's going to put a stop. He says that, yes, he's going to put a stop to birthright, but he didn't really explain the process very well. He didn't say specifically being born here when your parents aren't born here type thing. And then on top of that, with the whole parents thing, I mean, that's the same thing that the Borders are was saying, and that they don't want to remove people, separate families and whatnot. But he will send the whole family back. The thing is, there's a process when it comes to those that are here illegally. They come in seeking asylum. Asylum is supposed to be where you feel like you're in danger in your country and you're coming here seeking refuge because you're running from your country because it's a dangerous spot. Haiti was a big part of it. And I think that's why the Biden program even happened, because of everything that was happening a couple of years ago. Assassination of the president, all the gangs that started coming out of nowhere. They're out there destroying. They're out there, graping all the women and making and killing the children and stuff like that, killing the men. So the Democrats enabled for Haitians that live in America or people that aren't American to sponsor somebody in Haiti to come and live in America under this program. This is legal. That's what asylum is. But people at the border, they're supposed to come and seek the asylum. They're supposed to be in like camps where they can stay for a bit and stuff like that. And then they go into the country and they're supposed to go to a court date so that they could plead their case as to what's going on. But from what I'm hearing, a lot of what's happening is that they're not coming to the court dates and they're just running off and then just disappearing into America, and no papers, no identification, no nothing like that. And that's the big issue that's been happening. So it's a very weird and sticky situation. My understanding and the way that I feel about it is, vast majority of my family, everybody that is Haitian that was born in Haiti, came here legally. Is it a long process? Yes, it is. But they came here under means that they were able to come here legally. Are there ways to finesse the system? Of course, there's always ways to finesse the system, but then you just finesse the system. But I don't know, maybe it's just because Haitians are just so tight knit that they find ways to help their family out to get over here, and it may not be like that with those that are crossing the southern border. They may just be coming over here on their own accord, and they don't have somebody to bring them to America or help get them that assistance to get their residency or even a green card or whatever over here. I'm not sure. But I do know that for certain, I don't know what the number is as far as the actual criminals that's coming in from across the border, those that have mental issues or whatever the case may be. Again, something that the left doesn't like to talk about is, what's her name? Blake and Riley. They don't like talking about that because it was an illegal immigrant that came here. And I think this is the second time that he's come here, and he took Blake and Riley. They don't like talking about that stuff anytime when we're talking about immigration and whatnot. This is a prime example of why we need to be able to identify everybody. Now we got the guy's name and stuff like that, which is fine. But we don't want situations like that happening. If you're going to come over our borders and come into our lands, come into American lands, you shouldn't be coming out here doing stuff to people like that just because you're in different lands. If that's the case that you want to do, then you can go back. It's as simple as that. If there's anything about this immigration thing that I think should go through, is definitely those that commit serious, heinous crimes. I could care less about, a little weed bust or something like that. Or, somebody getting into altercation and somebody calls the cops on them, or they may have got a little frisky with the police or whatever the case may be. But if you're actually doing like heavy criminal stuff like the situation with Lake and Riley, or like doing a whole bunch of gang stuff, being a menace to society, you can go back to your country. That's how I feel. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that bell. I'm going to catch y'all later. Take it easy. Peace.